your vibe. I'm digging how you move, ain't thinking about no other guys. I know you interested, I can see it in your eyes. You've been patiently waiting, I can tell that you wise. I've been waiting for this for a long, long time. Got my father's blessing, you've been on my mind. So intoxicating, I don't need no wine. Baby, I ain't frightened, I'll be by your side.
I see you at the holy convocations. I let you get booted, I was patient. I can't even front, I've been waiting. I wanna do more than just skating. Girl, in my eyes, you're so amazing. You catch me staring on occasions. I hope your heart is still taking all the eye contact we making. I don't even know whether you Judah or you reframe. Northern or the southern, it don't matter in the prelims. Looking for a righteous man, hey, I'm trying to be him. Grinding on the week, I'm on the corner on the weekend. Summertime love, girl, it's cruising the caddy. It's undressing your heels, you a baddie. Feels like you're ready, I just wanna make you happy. Even as my queen, you can still call me daddy. Say you wanna wear it, and I'ma make it happen. Dope, and you might have seen compliance with your fashion. Not a politician, I'ma really make it happen. Ariana flow, I'm the one, no capping.
All I wanna be with him. No need to hit him in his DM. I'ma walk him to him, I'ma tell him how I feel. I'm ready to commit to you. I wanna give you all of me. I'm willing to submit to you. Like I give you everything. Anywhere you go, and I wanna go. I'm a ride or die for sure. Let the whole world know that I'm yours. Anything I got is yours. Anywhere you're going, I wanna go. I'm a ride or die for sure, yeah, yeah. Let the whole world know that I'm yours. Anything I got is yours.
Yeah, Israel 1 through 12. What you know about it? King talk. Follow me. They taught us lies and chased the image of his greatness. Gave us religion and it was off to the races. You got your idols and you wanna play your favorites. Same color, don't matter, your mind frame's basic. I kick truth and cover all bases. I'm talking facts and you wanna call me racist. I'm in the game with a handful of aces. Explore Job 9:24 and peep the fakeness. The gay vandals change their faces, a damn shame. False image in your picture frame. It's not a game, the ignorance got my spirit inflamed. I'm talking renaissance. You prance around like a debutante. Prideful and ignorant, the spirit my people love to flaunt. It's carte blanche when we set up shop on your block. To teach the word, the cream rises to the top. Got my feet firm in the pavement. Taking out these zombies, witches, and these pale-faced cavemen. And don't provoke or get hung like my hat and my coat. You heard Christ was white, but that was just a hoax. Studs and fringes in my fatigue coat. And we hope to eliminate all wickedness, but suckers keep bumping their gums, sounding ridiculous. You wanna know who it is? It's a moth, I acquire first name, the rest of y'all the straight lane. Here we go, I gotta let you know, I keep it 100, you keep it COINTELPRO. Whoa, so don't even trip, I got a sword in my hand, I ain't scared to let it rip. I'm here to let you know, I keep it 100, you keep it COINTELPRO. Whoa, so don't even trip, I got a sword in my hand, I ain't scared to let it rip. It's time to get rid of you, trapped in the black mirror. Subject to political theater, you won't hear the sound of the trumpet. Load the clip and dump it. There's no touching the Most High's beloved. These niggas want me to stop teaching, change the subject. My mood fluctuates up and down like your budget. Here's a little nugget, cash it in if you like. In the world of darkness, the only light you got is Christ. I'm trapped in hell, but I meditate calmly. Don't follow crowds, I'm avoiding you zombies. Giving my fringes, to hell with Abercrombie. My conscience clear, fear won't allow me to break the mold. Follow the globe, the teacher laws and commandments, I ain't breaking the code. Slaves bought and sold, identity never told. It's hard to stay hot in a world so cold. This shit is sad, grown men dressed in drag. Hit 'em with the law, them niggas be hauling ass. Catfish on the gram wearing a mask, trying to gather this 1/3 for sure. It's a tough task, but I stay focused, giving hope to the hopeless. Kwam Yasha Allah the slogan, so take notice. Plague a locust to those with bogus motives. Bury him 6 feet deep to smell the roast. Here we go, I gotta let you know. I keep it 100, you keep it COINTELPRO. Whoa, so don't even trip. I got a sword in my hand, I ain't scared to let it rip. I'm here to let you know. I keep it 100, you keep it COINTELPRO. Whoa, so don't even trip. I got a sword in my hand, I ain't scared to let it rip.
I got the keys, dripping prestige. Go to my wrist when I roll up my sleeve. Pull up my chariot beaming. Walking my water on the Yeezus. Work all on days, strengthen my faith. Angels rejoicing and screaming my name. Flexing, I'm rocking compliance. Shining through with the light. Light it up. I'm stuck in the matrix. All these demons that I'm facing. I'm never complacent. Backsliders call them fakers. You niggas fugazi. Psychedelics going crazy. We're living in final days. Now is our tidal wave. Oh, I need to meditate. Thinking now I'm finna elevate. Skywalking like I'm levitating. Oh, I'm a lion, not a Leo. Yeah, how it got me, that's true though. Karate chop you like judo. Side me out in the sky. Floating on Arcturus. Passing through Orion. He blessing me, I enjoy. She'll always be loyal. Heavily made from Zion. I'm God chosen. Who God chose? I'm God chosen. Who God chose? I got the keys, dripping prestige. Go to my wrist when I roll up my sleeve. Pull up my chariot beaming. Walking my water on the Yeezus. Work all on days, strengthen my faith. Angels rejoicing and screaming my name. Flexing, I'm rocking compliance. Shining through with the light. I'm stuck in the matrix. All these demons that I'm facing. I'm never complacent. Backsliders call them fakers. You niggas fugazi. Psychedelics going crazy. We're living in final days. Now is our tidal wave. I'm God chosen. Who God chose? I'm God chosen. Who God chose? She a young queen and she got goals.
Shalom. We good, Ahara? Y'all believe that? That's right. Because we all have relationships, right? And all through our lives, we've been proving our friends to see if they really friendly and our friends, right? Because the scripture said, if you want a friend, prove them, right? Well, now get us a friend, prove them. So let's go here. Let's go to Sirach 2. We're going to read 1 through 8.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
He said, prepare your soul for temptation. How many of y'all have been tempted since y'all been in the truth? For real? That's good. So let me ask you this. How were you tempted since you've been in the truth? Like what ways that you were tempted? Here. Sexually? Yeah. A lot of men go through that. By a woman or just
You got it.
the vision of a woman? Oh, okay, yeah.
My ex popped up out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Phone and stuff. Yeah, my ex, he popped up out of nowhere, you know what I mean? So we've been connected, talking on the phone. I've been trying to, display the truth to her, but she's been rejecting it. So I'm slowly but surely, pushing away from her. But she keep on calling me, you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But yeah, man, I've been weak, but, I've been staying strong, though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard, but I'm maintaining.
I'm going to show you what that temptation is after the other brother. Anybody else want to see what they've been tempted by? Yeah, get him the mic. Yeah, because that's what happened. Satan can't use nothing that we're not familiar with or nothing that we don't pay attention to. Because you might have money, and money might not be your temptation. Somebody probably had a lot of women, and they done with that, and that's no longer their temptation. But go ahead, up.
You just answered my question.
I answered your question?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. But here, I want to get this scripture, because this is what this is. This is a spiritual fight. It's a battle. When you come into this truth, you get swept clean. You got a new slate. Let's go to Luke 12 and verse 24.
Did you want to read?
Luke 11 and 24.
Do you still want to read through 1 through 8?
No, we're going to hold that. Hold that because we're coming back there.
All right.
Luke 11 and verse 12. Because I'm going to show you what that is, because this is a spiritual battle as well. And this is one of the things that a lot of brothers tend to forget. We think like, oh, it's all peaches and cream, but it ain't all peaches and cream. You in a war, an ongoing war. Not just with the outside, but this war is on the inside. And I'm going to show y'all that.
Luke chapter 11, verse 12. Or if he...
No, 24. Luke 11 and 24.
Verse 24. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places seeking rest, and findeth none.
See, that unclean spirit, you didn't cast him out when you found out about this truth. You didn't came in here, and man, you got cleansed, you got washed. Go ahead.
He saith, I will return unto my house whence
Wait, hold up. He said he going to return to his house. We walking in a fleshly body that houses our spirit. At one point, all them evil spirits was in our house. So he's still claiming what he's trying to claim back what's yours, what belongs to you rightfully. That spirit is saying that that's my house too. So who gonna win? You or that spirit? You gonna win, that's right. Your spirit is gonna win. You're gonna continue to keep that bad spirit out. But this is what he does. Go ahead, finish reading.
I will return into my house whence I came out. And when he cometh, he findeth it swept and garnished.
Like it's all clean. He like, man, I gotta go back home. Go ahead.
Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself.
See, he gets 7 more wicked, stronger than himself to try to take you down. That's why your ex came back. And she persistent. She don't want to come to the truth, but she persistent in getting your attention so you can fall back. So that's that unclean spirit, man. So, brothers, stay girded. Keep your mind right and recognize when them evil spirits come. Because some men, they get it through lust of their own temptation. You see how the women dress out here, right? It's cold as hell, and they walking around with, what they talking about, the gray, what's the thing now, the gray tights? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Hey,
walking around with mini skirts.
Yeah, mini skirts, all that. Because you know, in California, they say it never rained in Southern California, right? But we get all the weather. So they dress wild. And you driving down the street and you see it because they haven't been taught correctly. But we got to put them blinders on like a racehorse and have that tunnel vision. You see it, be like, oh, man, damn. But that's that unclean spirit fighting. Like it be finances, money. Like, you was having money in the world, now you ain't got no money because you in the truth and you trying to do the right thing, and all your temptations is money. Some people, all the temptations is women. Some other things. Some people, like, you come into this truth and you have to give up a lot of things, so the entertainment of the world is your temptation. But, man, and they bring them 7 spirits, so continue to guard your spirit, brothers. I thought I'd just share that with y'all. But let's go back to the Sirach, too. Because that's that temptation we got to prepare ourselves against. Everything that you was dealing with in the world, that's what's going to come back at you. But go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou comest to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
So we got to prepare our souls for temptation. We got to learn this word. We got to learn this law. That's the only way we're going to be able to fight. Go ahead.
Set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble.
So he said constantly endure. So you know trouble is coming. Trouble is on the way. It's around the corner. Don't we have it? We could be up one day and then down the next. We could be up for a few months and down the next few months. We could be up for 2 or 3 years and then we down a year. So that temptation is coming, which it happens to brothers. But go ahead.
Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
So he said that you may be increased at the last end. At the second coming of Yahushua, you want to get that increase. You want to make it to the kingdom. You want to have them servants. You want to have the burdens of the world off of you, right? But go ahead.
Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
See, he said be patient when you change to a low estate. Some of us had a lot, and now we like, man, I'm down. I got to try to get it. You playing lottery, you playing, doing all these get-rich-quick schemes, trying to get that money back up. But he said be patient in the low estate, because it's no thing for the Most High to make you rich, right? Because he said, I'll make you poor and I'll make you rich. He said it's an easy thing for him to make us rich. We just got to have that patience. But go ahead.
For gold is tried in the fire.
Who's the gold he's talking about? He's talking about y'all. Talking about the children of Israel. You know how the record company, they give you gold plaques? He said gold is tried in the fire. So we're going to be tried in the fire, y'all. We're going to be, you know how you, have any of y'all ever sold gold or anything like that? You know how they take it and they charge you a weight fee for burning the gold and purifying it? They charge you a purification fee because some of that gold is going to actually burn off when they testing it and burn it back down to a brick. Yeah, so we being tried in the fire. All the weight is being, all the ashes and all that stuff getting knocked off. But go ahead.
For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
He said acceptable men. Y'all want to be acceptable or y'all want to be trash? Yes, sir. That's right, but go ahead.
Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him.
So we got to trust in the Most High and in Yahushua. Go ahead.
Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall.
He give us all kind of warnings, right? And being proven. He telling us, ye that fear the Lord, believe in him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. He warning us not to go away. Because the scripture also talks about brothers being tossed to and fro by every wind and doctrine. If you're not grounded in this truth, you're going, oh, that doctrine says this doctrine says that. We even had brothers keeping Pentecost this month, keeping Pentecost that month with some other jakes and keeping it with us. Like, man, you just kept Pentecost like 3 times because they were unsure. But we got to trust in the Lord so we could be sure. Go ahead and read the next verse.
Verse 8, ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail.
So what's the reward we want? The kingdom. That's in Revelation 22 and 14. That's the reward we want to receive, right? So let's go to this next one, because we are being tried as well. Let's go to James 1 and 14. Sirach chapter 2, verse 1 through 8.
The book of James, chapter 2, verse 14. What do it profit, my brethren, though a man say he had faith and have not works, can faith save him? If a brother or sister...
James 1 and 14.
Oh, slack. James chapter 1, verse 14. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust.
Y'all know what that word lust mean, right? Because everybody think it's evil. Nah, that's one of them. But lust is desire. That's all it means, lust. What you desire. Because somebody might desire cars. Somebody might desire jewelry. Somebody might desire long hair, or somebody might desire big homes. Somebody might desire entertainment. That's all lust is. That's what it's talking about. It's saying, but every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own desires. Everybody is tempted by something different. And enticed. So with that, let's go to the next one. Because everybody's going to be tempted at one point. But we have to be grounded and rooted in his word. Let's read verse 12.
Verse 12, blessed is the man that endureth temptation.
He said, blessed is the man that endured temptation. So we have to be strong, rooted and grounded in the law. So we can endure the temptation. Because they're going to come. Go ahead.
For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life.
That's the crown we want. That's the reward we want. But we're going to be proven as well. Go ahead.
Which the Lord had promised to them that love him.
Y'all love the Most High and Yahushua? That's the promise. Go ahead.
Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God.
So the Most High ain't tempting us. But go ahead.
For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man.
So he's not going to tempt any man like that, in that fashion. So let's go to Job right quick. Because Job was tested, right? Let's go to Job 1. We're going to read 8 and 12.
Job chapter 1, verse 8. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feared God and escheweth evil?
So this is the Most High asking Satan, have you considered my servant Job, one who is upright? So if Job was tested and he was a righteous man, us coming into this truth, trying to be righteous, you know we're going to get tested too. The Most High going to prove us as well. But go ahead, read it.
Then Satan answered the Lord and said, doth Job fear God for naught? Hast not thou made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thy hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face.
So Satan was like, if you take all the protection away that you have from Job, he'll curse you. But go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thy hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord.
So he was given permission to test Job. Because remember, the Most High said he ain't going to tempt no man. But guess who will? Your adversary. He going to dangle that carrot before you. Hey, y'all, it's today is New Year's Eve. Come get drunk. Come get high. I got the party for you. Y'all know Megan Thee Stallion. She downtown L.A. today. Right. You got YG. Where he at?
I don't know where YG is.
He's somewhere out here in L.A. too. But you got all these celebrities giving these parties to do what? Entice the people to come party and partake of diners, celebrating these false gods. But go ahead.
Verse 13, and there was a day when his sons...
Oh, no, that's all I needed. Let's go to Matthew 4. Because Christ was even tempted. Because Christ was tempted as well. But did he endure the temptation? Yeah, he did. Let's go to Matthew 4. We're going to read 1 through 4.
The book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 1. Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil.
Who tempted him? The same person that tempted Job, right? Go ahead.
And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread.
So he waits till he get real hungry, right? And then want to test him. How many of y'all get tested when you start that fast? Somebody at the job buy donuts, they buy food, right? And just so happened that day, it's free. Any other time, they don't buy you nothing. You be like, dang, you for real? Be like, man, yep. Just know that that's Satan working in that person, trying to get you to break your fast and break your vow that you made to the Most High. And that's what happens. But go ahead. Verse 4.
Verse 4, but he answered and said, It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
So we got to live by the words of the Most High. The same thing Yahweh Shai said, that's the words that we got to profess as well. So we don't fall into the temptation. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. Because this is another temptation that brothers get, which he mentioned already. 1 Corinthians 7, we're going to read 4 and 5.
First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 4, the wife hath now power of her own body.
So all the married men, this is scripture. Your wife don't have power over her own body. You do. But go ahead.
But the husband, and likewise also the husband hath now power of his own body.
And you don't have power over your own body. I'm going to tell you why, but go ahead.
But the wife.
Uh-huh.
Defraud you not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting
He said, don't hold back sex from your significant other, your husband, or be it your wife. It's going to tell you why. Now go ahead. This is why you don't own your own body. When you enter that marriage covenant, you entered into that with your wife. She can't be holding back the sex, trying to, punish you and all that, and you can't be holding it back trying to punish her. But go ahead.
that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer.
See, that's the only time you hold back. Fasting and praying, that's it. But go ahead.
And come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your inconvenience.
Inconsistency. So you could be burning and your wife be like, no, nigga, I don't want, just because she mad at you. Nah, because in that instance, you see one of them girls or somebody on the street and you weak at that point, man, you could fall. This is why the scripture says that the wife is not her own and that you are not your own. When it comes to giving it up to your wife or your husband, you got to get that up. So you don't be what? Read that again.
That Satan tempt you not for your incontinency.
Inconsistency. Let's get that definition. Man, you got to get that. Look up the word definition, inconsistency. So you don't be tempted. Your wife don't want to give you none. You mad and you see something that look good and you get on it and now you committed fornication or possibly adultery.
Inconsistency, the fact or state of being inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see what inconsistent means. Inconsistent is incontinency.
Incontinency.
Let me see. There we go.
You got it?
Yeah. It's not popping up.
All right, I got it. It says, I'm going to give you the full definition. It says, unable to restrain natural discharge or evacuation of urine or feces, unable to contain or retain, unusually followed by incontinent of temper, lacking of moderation or self-control. So some people don't have that self-control. Remember when Paul was like, it's better to marry than to burn? That was the lack of self-control, because you taking on his wife because you need that, right? Which some men need, right? Some women, they need that and want that all the time too. So they's like, man, I ain't got that control. So when I want it, I need it, give it to me. So I don't have to go outside my marriage and get it. Satan don't tempt me. Because it happens, right? So with that, let's go to the next verse. That was 4 and 5? Yeah, that was 5. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 8. First Timothy chapter 6, verse 8 through 9. But before we go there, let's go to 1 Corinthians 6. I'm on 16 and 18. Correct.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 16. What, know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body?
So if you go outside your marriage because you tempted and now you join to one of these harlots, you become one with that spirit. Go ahead.
For two, saith he, shall be one flesh. Mm-hmm. But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit.
That's the spirit we want. We don't want to go outside and be tempted and be one with the harlot spirit. So now let's go to 1 Corinthians 6, 8 and 9. 1 Timothy 6, 8 and 9.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 8, and having food and raiment, let us be therewith content.
So he said, let us be content with these little things. But go ahead.
But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition.
Ain't that something I talked about earlier? Everybody got different temptations. We show one was sex, and then one is the money. Man want to be rich. You're going to do all these get-rich-quick schemes, trying to make money, and you done lost thousands of dollars just because you want to be rich quick. Or you didn't fully look into everything, and now you spent $700-800 on something that never worked. But he said, be patient, man. That's what we're working on, that temptation. So with that, let's go to 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 12 through 13. Because through all our temptations, us being proven and tested, the Most High always makes a way out. He wouldn't be the Most High if he didn't make a way out, a way of escape for you to get out of it.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12, wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall.
Mm-hmm. So he's saying take heed to the law. Be patient. Understand and know what it is that you're doing. Go ahead.
There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man.
See, everything that's common to man. Remember what I said? Satan can't use nothing to tempt you that wasn't already in you or something that you haven't experienced. You know, they say you're not going to cry over spilled milk if you never had it, right? But you will cry over that thing you had, right? Because you had it before, you tasted it. But something you ain't, let's say I drop these glasses. None of y'all here wear glasses, right? Are y'all going to be mad? Like, damn, that brother lost his glasses. No, right? But if you lose your wallet, you're going to be mad then, right? You're going to feel the pain, right? Like, damn, I did that before. Never want to do that again, right? Just like some people have accidents, and you never think like, damn, that was a messed up thing. Until you get into an accident and you understand it. But all the temptation is common to man. It's something that we didn't had or been through before. And the same temptation, that's what's going to come back. That's why I showed you in the Luke 11 and 24. Them unclean spirits, they coming all the time, and it's a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual fight. But go ahead.
But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape.
Man, beautiful. He make a way for us to escape everything. The way he made for escape today is us coming up out of this wicked world, of coming out of their wicked system, worshiping their false god today, Janus, not knowing what we worshiping, celebrating the new year in January. The temptation, he didn't already took it out. He made that escape. But you got a lot of brothers that don't listen to the Israelites that be out there professing the knowledge and the word of God on the corners. And they out there in the temptation, being destroyed, destroying themselves, right? But we in here tonight, keeping the law, statutes, and the covenant of the Most High. And with that, let's go to the next point. Let's go to Deuteronomy 13, 1 through 4. Because this is one that I attest to a lot. Because I was in the bootleg church. I was seeing the miracles that the church was doing. I was seeing how some was getting help and some wasn't getting help. And I was like, man, I want that. I was seeing how some people was getting favored a whole lot. And our people want that. They want to be a part of something. So let's go to Deuteronomy 13 and verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 1. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams.
Which we had that experience, a lot of us, through Martin Luther King. I had a dream that little black boys and little white girls could hold hands, and segregation messed us up, right? Because he used that I had a dream speech to segregate us. I mean, not to segregate it, to integrate us, which messed us up. But this is the Most High. Listen what he say, man. Because this is powerful. Read that. Go ahead.
And giveth thee a sign or a wonder.
So we was given a whole lot of signs in the bootleg church. Whole lot of wonders. Whole lot of hope, right? But go ahead.
And a sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm going to get a scripture right quick. Because our people are serving another God that they don't even know in the Christian church. So let me hold that right quick. Let's go here. 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 4. Because they tell you, oh, Jesus is wonderful. He's this, he's that. They turn him into a jukebox. You give your tithes and your offerings, you're going to be blessed. They tell you that he's white. Some churches got a picture of white Jesus hanging on the cross, right? But go ahead, read that.
2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4. For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus.
So don't they preach another Jesus in that church? Because they're not preaching the Jesus of the Bible. They're not preaching that Christ kept the Passover. They're not preaching that Jesus Christ is a so-called a dark-skinned, melanated man. They're not preaching that, right? But go ahead.
For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom we have not preached.
See, the scripture, they never preach it about the Jesus they preach about today. Just ask Jesus Christ for forgiveness, and your sins are forgiven. That ain't what Christ said. He said, go and sin no more. But go ahead.
Or if ye receive another spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel.
See, they receiving another spirit and another gospel that was not received out of the scriptures in its correct context. But go ahead.
Which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with him.
See, they bearing with that false prophet, that false witness, that false teacher in them churches. That's showing signs and wonders because they giving people money, some of them. But let's go back to that Deuteronomy 13. So our people are being duped. That false prophet, that false dreamer of dreams, them false prophets be giving all kind of prophecies. Ain't none of them about the world that's going to end. Ain't none of them about the children of Israel. All it is about, oh, girl, you're going to get this house. Girl, you're going to get that husband. Girl, you're going to get this car. You're going to get this nice job. That's all they be about. Lying on the Most High. But that's a test. But we're going to see how it's a test. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 3. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet.
He said, the Most High said, don't hearken to the words of that prophet. Because he is indeed a prophet, but he's a false prophet. Go ahead.
Or that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God proveth you.
Wait, hold up. He said, the Lord your power, he proves you. So it's a must we dig in these scriptures and find out who's the right prophet, who's the false prophet. Because he did say it was a prophet, right? It's a lot of prophets in them false churches. But it's the Most High doing the proving. I was in the bootleg church. But you know what I started doing? I started reading the Bible, asking questions. I was over here at my mama's church, El Shaddai Prayer and Deliverance Center. I asked her, I showed her in the scriptures, a woman ain't supposed to teach. You know who she showed me? Deborah. Who took over after Deborah? Gideon, right? Who were the priests all throughout the Bible? Men. Not one woman priest. But she up there prophesying, speaking in false tongues, giving false prophecies, giving false hope, beguiling the people, taking their money. But that's the test that the Most High give you. He's like, I'm proving you. Read that again so the people would know.
For the Lord your God proveth you.
See, the Most High, he proving us through these false prophets. Because don't they got the same Bible we got in the bootleg churches? They got the same Bible. They got the same opportunity to open it and to read it and start asking questions. But they refuse to. Just because the pastor doesn't open the Bible and read it, or they give you 2 or 3 scriptures and go for 2 hours off their own understanding and not the understanding of the Bible, you still have the opportunity to open it. Because after I left that church, I went to another church in East LA. It was a predominantly Spanish church. It's Shiloh Ministry. Went over there. Same thing. I'm reading the Bible. I'm in the studies. He started letting his wife be teacher. They call her Pastor Priscilla. And I asked her, why are you teaching this word? I asked her husband this. He said, because I'm her head. Because you her head, that don't make it right. But the Most High was proving me in that too. Get the mic, get the mic.
I got a friend. She
talk loud.
I know a preacher, female preacher. She be going in too. God, she be all on stage, running around, jumping around, prophesying, anointing people and everything. Husband be sitting in a seat like this, just chilling.
Yeah, the lady over here used to do the same thing, putting the oil on people, knocking people down and all that. Shoot, I was one of them. I was in there.
Me too.
I was stand there and get touched, and I'd be like, I'm going to just fall back.
Me too.
I ain't going to even resist.
I was in it too.
Not knowing that that's all part of the gimmick. But who gives the test? The Most High. He gives the test to see if we're going to continue to follow in their wickedness, which a lot of people are following in their wickedness. They preaching another Jesus. They doing what they want so they can gain monetary gain. And that's what they doing. They prophesying for money. I can show y'all that. Let's go to Zechariah 11:5. Is it Zechariah or Micah? One of them two. And that's all they doing is for the money. Because she had a good job. But she had an even better position at the church. She didn't have to work, and she can beguile the people for the money that they bringing in. You got it?
Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5, whose possessors slayed
No,
them.
no, I want Micah 3 and 11. Micah 3 and 11. Yeah.
Micah chapter 3, verse 11, the heads thereof judge for reward.
That's all they want. They want that reward. It says the heads thereof judge for reward. Man, we had so many problems in that church. It was adultery going on. It was people coming to her with relationship issues. And she was misleading them through her own understanding. We had a married woman messing with another married man because it was okay to divorce this person and get with that person in the bootleg church. What did the Bible say about marriage? Let no man cut asunder. They're supposed to stay together. But they was preaching that, man, oh, shoot, just get a divorce and get you another husband, girl. But go ahead.
The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire.
They teach for hire. We had it was a small church over there, bringing in $3,000 a night. Ask me how I know. I was on the usher board. I was counting the money. 3,000, 4,000. Mind you, it's a small amount of people in there giving all this money. That's $7,000 in 1 week. So do that times 4. She was getting paid. You quit your job too, right? If you beguiling the people, right? But go ahead.
And the prophets thereof divine for money.
That's all it was about, the money. Ain't got nothing to do with your soul, because when it's time for help, they didn't want to divvy out the help. And I could attest to that too, because my mom was going to lose the house. Guess what they said? Sign the house over to us. Instead of giving the help with the funds, sign the house over to us. Run that back. They want that bread, homie. They don't want, man, ain't no real help. They want the house instead of giving the help.
Did your mom sign it over?
Nah.
Wait, no. Okay, I'm confused.
We'll finish talking about it later. But yeah, that's what happened.
They wanted to foreclose your house?
No, not foreclose on it. They wanted to sign it over to them
Oh, damn.
for them to be on the house for the help. Like, hell no. Like, it don't work like that. Get the help and get the money back. Shit, I've been a part of this church for a long time. Giving big time, especially my mom's. She faithful to them to this day. And I talked to one of their ministers. He came through. We had a big old long discussion. He was like, you know what? You right, Chris. Everything you talk about in this Bible, you right. And he died a few months later. But that's how the bootleg church works. And this is how the Most High tests us. And a lot of people, they fell in that test. Because they ain't opening this Bible and they ain't trusting the God that they say they believe in. They following after that other Jesus. Because all they want is the false prophecy every week and every day and every Tuesday. Right? How I know? Because I was in there. I was a part of it. And all praises to the Most High. He woke me up. Because one day I decided, I was like, man, I want to keep these commandments. I want to see how I feel. Because everybody always talk about, you can't keep the law. Ain't nobody perfect. But when you read the Bible, it's a lot of perfect people in here.
That's right.
And they got punished with the wicked people. Right? But they still going to receive their reward. I can't hear you.
I said that'd be the good time to hit them with Christ. We perfect in Christ.
Yeah. Christ said, be ye perfect as I am perfect. He said, he told us to be like him and his Father. And if him and his Father is perfect, don't that mean we can be perfect too? And perfect is keeping the laws, the covenant. He said a just man gonna fall 7 times. But that's not talking about a sinner. That's talking about a just man that make mistakes. But let's go back to that. Let's
Finish this.
finish that and then we go back to Deuteronomy.
Yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us?
That's what they tell you. God is with us. Just give your money. Pay your tithe. Your rent going to be paid. Nope, that don't get paid either. Pay your tithe. Your light bill going to get paid. That don't get paid either. You end up taking out a loan, paying your bills on your own, and then you call that a blessing after you done gave up your tithes. That's a curse because now you in even more debt.
Right.
But now let's go back to the Deuteronomy 13:4.
Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 4, ye shall walk after...
Finish 3 again.
Verse 3, thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God proveth you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Mm-hmm. Ye shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cleave unto him.
See, he do the testing. But if you don't read his word and you don't ask for the understanding, you're not going to get it. You're going to be study under them false prophets and them dreamer of dreams, getting lied to, getting took for all your money, getting took spiritually. So let's go to the next thing, because, man, it's the Most High doing the proving, and he using the bootleg church to do it. A lot of our people are stuck in that madness. So with that, let's go to Acts 14:22. You got it?
The book of Acts, chapter 14, verse 22, confirming the souls of the disciples, and exhorting them to continue in the faith.
What's the faith? The law. But go ahead.
And that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of God.
See, we're going to go through tribulation. We're going to be tested. You know, some people, oh, man, I became a Hebrew. I thought it was going to be easy, knowing that I know the Most High. No, the test just now started. We testing to see if we're going to be righteous to make it into the kingdom. Didn't he tell us he was testing us in Deuteronomy? So we being tested. We being proven. Don't y'all prove y'all friends? Don't y'all go to work? You after you finish work, you see if they're going to pay you, right? If they don't pay you, you going to stay on that job? Nah, that's you proving your employer to see if he's loyal to you after you've been loyal to him. Don't you take your car for a checkup to see if it's right? Yeah. You take your car for a checkup to test it and see if it's right. So with that, let's go to let's get this one. Let's go to 2 Ezra 7:7. Because we definitely going through this tribulation. We definitely going through this test. 2 Ezra's in the Apocrypha, chapter 7 and verse 7.
2 Ezra chapter 7, verse 7, the entrance thereof is narrow.
What entrance is narrow? The entrance to the kingdom. This is what it's talking about. This is why we being proven. Can't nobody walk this walk for us. They can lead us and guide us and show us the way to go, but it's up to us when we learn the law, statutes, and the covenant to keep it. Go ahead.
And is set in a dangerous place to fall.
Oh, wow. It's in a dangerous place. It's in a dangerous place. Because where we at, y'all? America, a.k.a. Babylon. B.k.a. Sodom and Egypt. Where they make laws for you to break the Sabbath. Make laws for you to commit fornication, adultery. Say, oh, you don't want that wife? Just divorce her and get another one. marry somebody else's wife that divorced her husband. Ain't that legal here? Yeah. So we in a dangerous place. They tell you can't keep the laws.
So, be basically saying like if somebody divorced the wife, you can't take her?
No, not in this truth, you can't. Because she married to her husband.
So
She
what-
bound by law to her husband.
So what's she gonna do for the rest of her life if she divorced?
If she divorced, she can't go get another husband. If you was married to somebody of another nation, was it like when you say other nation, what nationality? Like Edomite, a white person? Oh shit, you could break that. You could break that all day, cause they not Israel. You could break that all day, cause we ain't supposed to be with them anyway. I'm gonna show you. Let's get 1 Ezra chapter 8 right quick.
I mean, so what's she supposed to do if she can't get married?
She can't get married. I'm gonna show you that.
Unless like the husband dies or something.
Yep.
That's when she-
Let's go to yeah, chapter 8 and 84.
First Ezra chapter 8, verse 84. Therefore now shall ye not join your daughters unto their sons, neither shall ye take their daughters unto your sons. Moreover, you shall never seek to have peace with them, that ye may be strong and eat the good things of the land, and that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore.
See, we ain't supposed to take them as in marriage. So it's no problem. You divorce them. What verse did you say? 1 Ezra chapter 8. No, 1 Ezra chapter 8, verse 84. And let's get this one right quick. Mark 10 and 12. Or let's get you know what? Mark 10 and 12, and I'm going to get the Corinthians one.
Mark chapter 10, verse 12. And if a woman shall put away her husband,
So this is a woman. Same thing for a man, but this is a woman. She don't want to be with her husband no more. Go ahead.
and be married to another, she committed adultery.
She committed adultery. Because it's a blood covenant between a man and a woman when they get married. And that's a covenant for life, according to the Most High. So she can't go outside the marriage and marry somebody else.
Same thing if you have sex, right?
Yeah, sex is the marriage.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Because he's saying, what if a woman departs from her husband and she want to marry somebody else? She can't do it. Because now you're going to be the adulterer. And she dragging you down with her. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 11. Because this is what she can do. That's about it. Because this is the only thing she could do.
Chapter 11 and 7?
Nope. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 11.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 11. If she depart, let her remain unmarried.
A woman that's in the truth, it says, if she depart, let her remain unmarried. This is the only thing she could do. Go ahead.
Or be reconciled to her husband.
Be reconciled to her husband. She can only come back to that man. That's it. As long as he's living. But if he die, then she free to marry whoever she want to marry. But if that husband's still living, she's still under the law.
And let not the husband put away his wife.
That's all I needed. So with that, let's go on. Let's go. Where was we at earlier?
2nd Ezra 7. Yeah, 2nd Ezra 7:7.
And you can also add to that Romans 7, verse 1 and 2. I'll read it. Romans 7, verse 1 and 2. It says, Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by law to her husband, so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband. So if he died, that's the only way. So she can't go remarry nobody. She can't go have sex for fun with nobody. She got to go reconcile that with her husband. But let's get this. Let's get back to the... Let's go to 1 Peter 4, verse 12 through 14. Hey, we got to speed up a little bit, too.
Okay. 1 Peter what?
1 Peter 4 and 12. We're going to read 12 through 14.
1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you.
Didn't we read 2nd Ezra 7 and 7? Did we finish reading all of it?
7 and 7? Yeah, we read that verse.
It said it's going to be fire on one side and deep water on the other side. We sat in a dangerous place. It said these fiery trials is coming. It said, Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trials, which is to try you. We are being tried. We are being proven by the Most High whether we're going to be fit for his kingdom. Go ahead.
As though some strange thing happened unto you, but rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of Christ's sufferings.
See, the Most High telling us to rejoice. It's a good thing that you're being persecuted for this truth. And it's also a sign that you might be worthy. But go ahead.
That when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. If ye be reproached for the name of Christ, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of God rested upon you.
See, the Most High telling you, if you are reproached for this truth, that means the spirit of God is rested upon you. That's a sign right there. Go ahead.
On their part, he is evil spoken of, but on your part, he is glorified.
My God ain't like that. He won't kill nobody. He don't hate nobody. We ain't got to keep the laws. Don't they tell you that? Right. But he said it's glory for you when they speak that against you and against him, for you. So with that, let's go to because we also got to suffer for Christ too as well. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 2. We're going to read 9 through 10.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 9. But we see Jesus, who was made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of God should taste death for every man.
Didn't he taste death for all of us? Because had he not died on the cross for us to give us a chance to repent, we'd all be dead. The Most High be starting over right now. Let's see how he did that. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 3. Yeah, but we're going to come back to it.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15,
Verse 1.
verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel which I preached unto you, which also you have received, and wherein ye stand, by which also ye are saved, if ye keep in memory what I preached unto you, unless ye have believed in vain.
He said, this is how we going to be saved. When we believe and keep the memory that he gave to us. All the things that he done. Go ahead, read the next one.
For I deliver unto you first of all that which I also received, how that Christ died for our sins according to the scriptures.
See, he died for our sins. That's how he tasted death for all of us. So let's go back there. Hebrews 2 and verse 10 now. Read that. Man, it's cold tonight.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 2,
Verse 10.
verse 10. For it became him for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, in bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings.
See? We got to suffer too with Christ. But who's the captain? Yahweh Shai. Let's go to Hebrews 12 and 5.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 5. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children, my son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord.
The chastening. That's the correction. That's the whooping. He said, don't despise that. But go ahead.
Nor faint when thou art rebuked of him.
He said, don't faint. It's just me correcting you. You're going to suffer a little bit, but go ahead.
For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth.
Is the Most High scourging the Edomites? Punishing them for all the wickedness they doing? No, he not. He ain't chastening them. They committing fornication, adultery. They stealing everything all around the world. They ain't being punished for that, right? Yeah, soon they will. They going to get it. That's in Amos chapter 11. But is he chastising the Moabites? No, they not. They eating baby. They eating their own babies as an aphrodisiac. They not being punished for that. Y'all know in China they have a law. They want more men babies than women babies. They kill the girls and they keep the boys. Yeah, they not being chastised for that, right? But we being chastised for every little thing we do. White man kills somebody, he go get a burger. Black man kills somebody, he get 20, 30 years.
Sure, if you kill a dog, you get like 20 or 30 years. Man.
The little Jake, he killed that police dog, got 24 years.
Man.
It was the one Jake, he was driving on suspended license. He got 60 years. White people drive without license all day, every day in Hollywood. They don't even be having no plates on their car. That car be 12 years old with no plates. And they don't even mess with them. But with us, in the hood, man, you got the piranhas everywhere. But go ahead.
Verse 7, if ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons.
He's dealing with you as a son. Because you sticking in there, you taking the whooping, you taking the beating, and you taking the correction. He ain't dealing with the other nations like that. That's why they're able to do any and every old thing that they want to do right now. But he's trying to get the children of Israel right and fit for his kingdom. Because he said he's coming back for a church without spot or blemish. Don't y'all want to be that congregation without spot or blemish? But go ahead.
For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons.
He called them bastards. All the other nations are bastards. He only care about the children of Israel. Yep. But we his sons. So with that, let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 14. Because he said he'll even chastise Christ if he mess up. And y'all know Christ was perfect, right? Second Samuel chapter 7, verse 14.
2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 14, I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men.
See, the same thing he doing to us, he said if Christ did the same thing, he would have did him the same way. And I'm going to prove you that this is talking about Yahweh Shai. Read verse 12 and 13.
Verse 12, and when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever.
So this wasn't talking about David, and this wasn't talking about Solomon. This is talking about Yahweh Shai. His kingdom is going to be forever, because those two kings died. So he said he'll chastise in Christ with the rod of men if he commit iniquity. But did he commit iniquity? No, he died for us. So we can have a chance to make it into this kingdom. So with that, let's go to the next thing I want to get. Let's go to Daniel 9. Daniel chapter 9, verse 11.
The book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 11, yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and an oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. And he had confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil, for under the whole heaven hath not been done as had been done upon Jerusalem.
See, all of Israel have done this. That's why we're in captivity today. We transgress against his laws. Now he's proven us through his laws, through his commandments, through these wicked nations that he left here. And I'm going to show y'all that. So let's go to Matthew. Matthew 10, I want verse 32 and 33. Because this is another thing that we have to do as the children of Israel. Go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 32, whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father, which is in heaven.
Don't we have to confess Yahweh Shai before men? To be accepted by the Father? He said, if you do this, I'm going to do this. You got some people that deny Christ. And you got a lot of people that confess him like we do. Well, let's go to Luke 8. Verse 20 and 21. This is all in the proving period. This is how we are being proved. Go ahead.
Luke chapter 8, verse 20. And it was told him by certain which said, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to see thee. And he answered and said unto them, my mother and my brethren are these which hear the word of God and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it came to pass.
That's it. He said his mother and father, his brethren are these that do the word. So if we're not doing the word, what are we to Christ? We nothing, right? We not his disciples. We not nothing, right? So with that, let's go to James 1. I want 22 to 25. James chapter 1, verse 22 through 25.
The book of James, chapter 1, verse 22, but be ye doers of the word and not hearers only,
See, he wants us to be doers of the word. Go ahead.
Deceiving your own selves.
So you can hear the word all day, but if you don't practice it, you're deceiving yourself. Go ahead.
For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass.
So How many of y'all holding y'all face in the glass? How many of y'all always, you get that haircut, you stay in the mirror. Oh man, how I look. You read this law, and you studying the law like, is it right? Is it right? Is it right? No, you can't just read it. You got to practice it now. But go ahead.
Verse 24, for he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed.
So you got to hear the word. Don't forget the word, but do it. Then you'll be blessed in your deed. So with that, let's go to 1 Corinthians 2. I want 13 and 14. Because this goes back to what I said earlier. This is a spiritual walk. It's still a spiritual fight. Because now the natural man versus the spiritual man. 1 Corinthians 2, verse 13 and 14.
1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 13, which things also we speak, not in the words which man wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Ghost teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him.
Don't people be like, man, y'all ain't got to keep the Sabbath on Saturday. Y'all ain't got to let your beard grow, cut it. Y'all ain't got to keep them feast days, right? But that's the natural man. The spiritual man ain't going to keep the feast. Because these are the things that the Most High and Yahushua will require of us, right? But go ahead.
Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned.
See, these things are spiritually discerned. This is how we know the Most High and Yahushua, by keeping his law, statutes, and covenant, which is spiritual. Let's get that. 1 John chapter 2, verse 3 and 4.
We're going to hold this?
Yeah, hold that. That way we can come back and finish it.
First John chapter 2, verse 3, and hereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandments.
See, this is the only way we're going to know what the Spirit is, if we keep his commandments, which I'm going to show you that too. Go ahead.
He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar.
So you're not keeping the Sabbath, you're not keeping his feast, but you keeping, what's this, New Year's Eve, you keeping New Year's. January 1st is a new year. You don't know the Most High and Yahushua, because you're not keeping his law. You're keeping the customs of man. Go ahead.
He that said, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him.
So he said, you a liar and ain't no truth in you. Didn't I tell you earlier the bootleg church was that test? Them false prophets and dreamer of dreams. You even got some Israelites, false prophets and dreamer of dreams, teaching lies, right? But go ahead and read this, that verse 5.
Verse 5, but whoso keepeth his word, in him very is the love of God perfected.
See, this is how you become perfect, by keeping his law, keeping his commandments. Go ahead.
Hereby know we that we are in him.
See, this is how you know that we in the Most High and Yahushua, if we keep his laws. Now let's go back to the Corinthians.
First Corinthians chapter 2, verse 15, but he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judge of no man.
See, we become spiritual and we judge all things. Let's see how we become spiritual. Let's Romans 7 and 14.
The book of Romans chapter 7, verse 14, for we know that the law is spiritual.
See, the law is spiritual. That's how we judge all things. Does this have pork in it? Does this have shellfish in it? Things that are unlawful for us to eat, which they slide that in a lot of foods. Y'all eat Panda Express? They put the oyster sauce, the oyster juice in the noodles. Can't eat that. But the carnal man would be like, man, these is just noodles. I'm a grub. I don't care if it touch a little pork on this grill over here. I'm going to still let them cook my burger over here. But it just touched the pork, which the juice, which the Most High said is everything of the pig is an abominable thing to him. He said, don't even touch it. But brothers still go to the restaurant where they cooking pork and all that on the same grill as your clean food. But the spiritual man going to be like, nah, I ain't eating that. But that natural man, he can be like, man, I'm a grub. They just cooked it on the same grill. But it's defiled now. And that's something the spiritual man will discern. Because between the clean and the unclean.
I want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
That's one of the spiritual benefits of being a vegan, because when you're a vegan, you don't have to worry about your meat, right? Your beef, your steak, or whatever being cooked on the same grill with the pork and all that.
Nah, because they splicing animal DNA with vegetables.
Yeah.
Or they splice. You don't know what animal they splicing. You can't say that spiritual. Even the scriptures tell us to eat lamb during Passover. So everybody ain't no vegan. Because unless you skipping Passover, you ain't no vegan. Because you got to eat the lamb. It's a good thing to eat vegetables. And then, too, what they say about the kale, that's one of the most foods that the most pesticides in the kale.
So if you're a vegan in the camp, you have to eat lamb.
You got to eat the lamb. That's one of the ordinances of the Passover. Yeah, it's mandatory. If not, if you don't eat it, you ain't taking Passover correctly.
Yeah, that's just gonna have to be a cheat day for them, because vegans, they have their cheat days and all that, So when it comes to Passover, that has to be a cheat day.
It ain't a cheat day. That's the Lord's day, actually.
The Lord's day.
So with that, let's go to 1 John 5. Oh no, let's go to Romans 8 and 16 right quick. Tripping.
Oh, Romans 8 and 5.
Romans 8 and 16.
Romans chapter 8, verse 16. The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit.
See, the law bear witness with our spirit, right? Go ahead.
That we are the children of God.
And what law is that? You can go to Deuteronomy and show the laws, the covenant. If we do righteous, we'll be blessed. If we do wrong, we'll be cursed, which we living in a cursed state right now. Not in our homeland. We can't protect ourselves, right? Lawfully according to Esau, right? They don't want us to bear guns, right? So our spirit itself bear witness that we are the children of God. When you read the scriptures, you see the color scriptures. You see where the people was at, and they were melanated people, which was us. So now let's go to 1 John 5 and 6.
First John chapter 5, verse 6. This is he that came by water and blood, even Jesus Christ, not by water only, but by water and blood.
Because Christ, he was made lower than the angels. He came through the blood of man, through Joseph and Mary, right? His parents had sex. That's what it's talking about. Go ahead.
And it is the Spirit that beareth witness, because the Spirit is truth.
Mm-hmm. How are men to come on the earth? Through sex. That's the law. That's the spirit that bear witness with Yahweh Shah. He walked the face of the earth. He had biological parents. That's why he had a biological bloodline when you read Luke 3, 1 through 30, and Matthew 1 through 14. So with that, let's go to finish reading that.
Verse 7, for there are three that bear record in heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost, and these three are one.
Mm-hmm. Those three are one. So now let's go to 2 Maccabees 4 and 14.
You said Matthew?
2 Maccabees 4, verse 14 through 17. Man, they shooting already. They celebrating their God already. Y'all hear that? Yeah.
Second Maccabees chapter 4, verse 14, that the priest had no courage to serve anymore at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in a place of exercise after the game of discus called called them forth.
So these are children of Israel. They start indulging in the Olympics of the heathens. No longer wanting to keep our customs, because you got a gang of Israelites in the Olympics, right? How are they dressed? Tight pants, tight clothes, they naked, they showing everything. And if you look at the word gymnasium, it's a place to exercise naked. That's why the clothes be so tight. You can see everything. Because y'all seen the Olympics, I ain't even got to explain. But go ahead.
Verse 15, not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
They don't want to keep the commandments and the laws of the Most High. But did what? But liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. Our people want to practice the customs of the Edomites. What they doing tonight? Worshiping the winter solstice feast, which is January 1st. Worshiping Janus, the false god.
Two-headed God.
Yep, a two-headed God. Y'all don't even like two-timing people, right? Y'all say, oh, man, yeah, they two-faced. But they going to go worship a two-faced God, the God of beginnings and endings, and fertility and wine and getting drunk. But go ahead.
Verse 16, by reason whereof sore calamity came upon them.
That's why your guy was like, man, it's going to be a lot of killing tonight.
Right.
During these feasts and these bootleg holidays, sore calamity always come upon the children of Israel. Halloween, people get into accidents, they get killed. They get kidnapped because they want to follow the customs of Esau. But go ahead.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose custom they follow so earnestly, and unto whom
it said they had them to be their enemies and their avengers. They use you for entertainment. Now they're going to kill you at the same time. Who be having insurance on these rappers? Big insurance policies on these rappers when they die. Esau, right? Them fake Jews get all that money back. But our people continue to trust in the enemy. But read that again.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers.
Like a lot of our people going to celebrate the new year tonight, right? You know, people be having their guns on them. Who going to arrest the black folks? Esau. They sending their minions in the hood. Oh, go get them niggas. Take their guns, take their liquor. So what if they celebrating our feast days? We going to make money off them anyway. Because when I pulled up, best believe the cop car pulled in the liquor store right here and was looking at all the brothers. Like, what y'all doing over here? And they left. Well, guess who they going to come back for? Come back for them. But go ahead.
Whose custom they follow so earnestly, and until whom they desire to be like in all things.
See, our people following their wicked customs. They want to be like everybody else except our forefathers. But go ahead.
For it is not a light thing to do wickedly against the laws of God.
See, the Most High, like, he don't deem this a light thing. It's a heavy thing that they doing wickedly against his commandments.
Shall declare these things.
See, that time is at hand. The kingdom is at hand. And that's why we declaring these things. But so with that, let's go to Isaiah 5. I want 20 through 25.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good.
Oh, it's January 1st. Happy New Year. Winter solstice. The worship of Janus. The Most High like, man, woe unto them that call evil good. Go ahead.
And good evil, that put darkness for light, and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet, and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes, and prudent in their own sight.
See, the Most High said destruction is coming to them. Sad to say, but it's going to be destruction coming on Israel tonight for following after these heathens and their customs. Go ahead.
Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of...
Ain't that what they professing tonight? The God Dinas, the baby New Year. That's actually a grown man in a baby's body. They're going to be drinking wine and turning up for this night, for their false God. Go ahead.
And men of strength to mingle strong drink.
They're going to be mingling strong drink, bargaining and all that, right? Go ahead.
Which justify the wicked for reward, and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him.
Go ahead.
Therefore, as the fire devoureth the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, so their roots shall be rottenness, and rottenness, and their blossoms shall go up as dust. Of the Lord of hosts, because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts, and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel.
See, that's what our people do. We've been professing that January 1st is not the new year all last month, even up until this very day. And our people still want to follow after their wicked customs. And the Most High said they're going to be burned up because they despise his law. So you hear about somebody, an Israelite, Latino, African American, Native American being killed on this wicked night, partaking in their wickedness, know that that's the Most High doing that because they refuse to listen. But go ahead.
Verse 25, therefore is the anger of the Lord kindled against his people.
See, he said the Most High's anger is kindled. Remember I said we can't get away with nothing because we being chastised by the Most High. All judgment was given into the hands of Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
And he has stretched forth his hand against them and has smitten them, and the hills did tremble, and their carcass were torn in the midst of the streets.
He said their carcass was torn in the midst of the streets. Ain't that where Israel catching hell at? In these streets. So with that, let's go to...
You want to finish that?
Yeah, go ahead.
For all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still.
Hand still stretched out. Israel still catching hell. And we still being proven too. Let's get that in Judges 2. Judges 2 and 22.
Judges chapter 2, verse 22. That through them I may prove Israel whether they will keep the way of the Lord to walk therein as their fathers did keep it or not.
Read verse 21.
Verse 21, I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Joshua left when he died.
Go ahead.
That through them I may prove Israel.
See, he proving Israel. That's why the lesson is, you will be proven. It's the Most High proving us still till this very day. Go ahead.
Whether they will keep the way of the Lord to walk therein.
See, whether we're going to keep his commandments, his laws, and his covenant. Go ahead.
As their fathers did keep it or not. Therefore the Lord left those nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivered he them into the hand of Joshua.
Man. So we're still being tested by our enemy. Let's get chapter 3 and verse 1 now. And it's the Most High. He using the enemies to do it. And a lot of our people are failing. Go ahead.
Chapter 3, verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel
He left all these nations to prove us. By who?
To prove Israel by them, even as many Israel had not known all the wars of Canaan.
Didn't the scripture say the Most High is the man of war? So we still being proven by a man of war. Now let's get Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3. We're going to read 1 through 5. So the Most High is still proving the children of Israel, y'all, which we are. He don't want us to follow the wicked ways and customs of the heathens. And he don't want us to go away from his law. But he proving us to see if we're going to keep his law. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3, verse 1.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3, verse 1. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God.
So we are in the hands of the Most High, Yahweh, our power. Remember that. When we being chastised, it's by him. When we being tried as gold in the fire, it's by him. But go ahead.
And there shall no torment touch them.
See, ain't no torment going to touch us. Why? Because we in the spirit. No matter what happens to this fleshly body, it's not going to touch our spirit. Because remember, he said, don't be afraid of him who can kill the body only, but be afraid of him that can kill the body and the spirit.
God.
That's who we are to be afraid of, the Most High. But go ahead.
In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die.
See, in the sight of the unwise, we seem to die. They're like, oh man, he died. Was he wicked? No, we keeping these commandments. That's why the Most High said this. He said in the unwise, it seemed like they died. But go ahead.
And their departure is taken for misery.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace.
See, the Most High said, even if our bodies get destroyed, we still going to be in peace. Don't worry about nothing. I'm the one proving you and trying you. I'm the one got the last say-so. But go ahead.
And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality.
Ain't that what we working for? Immortality, right? To make it into that kingdom. Go ahead.
And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded, for God proved them and found them worthy for himself.
See, he found us worthy for himself. After all that, he proved us and found us worthy for himself. Ain't that a beautiful thing, man? To make it, to understand the law, statutes, the covenant, and still make it right here. And with that, that can conclude the lesson. And I say shalom and peace to the children of Israel scattered abroad.
Shalom.